Take your time. There we go, 10 cards. Prince of Discs, Knight of Discs, Prince of Cups, ooh, and the Priestess to wind it all up. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I know the one thing you said is that you're feeling you have a feeling of that a change is up for you, and you have 1, 2, 3 discs. Your first 3 cards are discs, so that's the suit of the real world, the physical world, the material world, and these cards are very strong and very positive. So the first one being the Prince of Discs, which would be really the changer of the deck. The princes are, I always refer to them as the youth of their suit, the ones who go out to explore. Like, I imagine them always in their early 20s. So imagine yourself in your early 20s, or that energetic sensibility of, you know, it's time to branch out. It's time to go find something out on your own and not rely on what's established or what's conventional. So that would very much talk about the feeling that you may be having. Like, it's time to take a little trip, or sort of sample something outside your usual routines, your usual comfort zone. And what's coupled with that card is the 9 of Discs. 9s of every suit I always describe as the perfectly ripened fruit. Here's the 9 itself. You see, it's just this lovely starburst of circles. There's a lot of energy in here of abundance and order and health. There's a lot of health in this, health in the widest sense of the term. So to me, the 2 of them put together, and also with the Knight, which falls at the 3rd card, it stands for what everything at this time is based on. So the Knights of their suits are the more mature, the more established characters of the suit, who are in the position of protecting and championing what their rulership is. And this again is about the rulership for you at this time of your physical reality, your work, your relationships, your body, your housing, your possessions, your geography, your finances. So it's speaking that there's already something very established, very secure. It's speaking that there's a great foundation for you to be taking this little explorative journey for yourself. All right, the card that comes up fourth is the Ace of Wands, one of my favorite cards in the deck. I love all the wands, I think, mostly, yes. But the ace, you have to just love the ace. It falls in the position of what's just behind you, and it speaks of some energetic, something high energy for you, like energy of beginning, something that may have already begun for you, or you've had an impulse, you've had an intuition. It's still strong for you, but you might want to reflect on, just like the recent past, what ideas or energies have been coming to you. Those things are good for you now to view and approach from the point of departure of turning them into something physical or real, or applying them into this next exploration you'll be doing. The top of the reading, which stands for your hopes and your fears, and or an ideal resolution, something to shoot for, like bigger than your wildest imaginations. It's death, which comes out of this special suit, the major arcana. And death always meaning a time for clearing away what's behind, what's old, what's outdated, and opening yourself up to what's to come. So it's a transition card of leaving something you've known and giving over to the unknown and the new. It's a beautiful card under a similar idea of feeling a change coming. So it has, when this card is in a reading, or every time it's brought forward, it invites you to have a spirit of letting go. And under the heading of a change, you're feeling a change, I offer to you letting go. Look around towards what you have already in place at this time that you're ready to let go of, and then do something actual, physical around that letting go. Clean your closet, get rid of old clothes, go through a drawer. What else? I think it could be very specific, like, let some clothes go out of your closet. It could be making a new area in your garden, that you're ready to do something different with. But consider that too, because that is a symbolism of how you are ready and what it looks like and feels like to be changing and to be letting something go and to be opening yourself up to new, and to kind of be in that in-between state. So we can talk about that more in a minute, but I know you know what I'm talking about. So the card which falls next in progression is the Prince of Cups. Again, the Prince. Now, the energetic sensibility of something is changing. These two princes are speaking to that something on the physical level and something on the emotional level, or the level of your dreams. Like these two cards, these two princes are asking you to make a move. Don't just sit around and think or imagine or wait. They're asking for you to take some action. Action on the physical parts of your life, and something putting you out of your comfort zone or willing to explore something deeper on the emotional zone. Right. I might talk more about this in a minute, but the emotional component is very powerful here. I believe it will have information for you, and when I say emotional, it doesn't have to be like frightening. It can be like returning to that curiosity of excitement, of playfulness, of imagining your life in a new way, in a way that is creative, is happy even. I mean, a lot of times we talk about going deep with emotions, there's this idea that, oh my God, what am I going to discover? How, maybe I don't want to go there because it's deep. But I think and you may do that. You may go to a deep place that is very sensitive. But please go with understanding that there's something beautiful to be discovered within that, and a renewal that will come from it. So that sweetens the maybe that little tinge of fear, or maybe that little tinge of resistance of, oh, I don't know if I really want to find out. I don't know. So yeah, go with the energy of, I'm willing to find out. I'm ready to find out, and I think you actually are. So the turning point of the reading here is the Star, which is one of my favorite cards in the deck. Turning point means under everything that is operating at this time, and you know that everything is transitory, but the configuration of what is in your field right now, the Star is telling me it's time to shine. It's time to step into your beauty and that energy of trust of the universe, that I really am a channel for this powerful life-giving force, and it's you know, it's ready to flow through you. So this card is saying, to some extent, to let go also of thinking too hard and just move with. In fact, I'm jumping at one card here to jump to this card, which is the card of the reading. It expresses how is right now the best way to spend your time and attention. And this is the from the suit of wands, which you had earlier. It's the Six of Wands. It's called Victory. I love this card. It's one of the most beautiful and also energetically open and friendly cards in the deck. This card has to do with the victory that comes from trusting and moving on your impulses. We second guess so often. We have an idea, but then we set it aside. This is the card that says you actually have very good instincts. Just go with your instincts. Go with, and remember, I'm offering to you that when I say best way to spend your time and attention, you might want to spend some time and attention lightly, not heavy duty, but reflecting on those recent occasions, or even farther past occasions in which your intuition, when you've followed that intuition, you've actually had great success or victories. It could be any small or large. It doesn't really matter the degree. What matters is the function of connecting with those intuitions and acting upon them and registering and validating and what's that other word? Emphasizing the fact of the utility of doing that, the victory that comes from it. So at the top of the reading, everything leading to the Priestess. She, again, is one of my favorite cards in the deck. She has to do, again, incredibly about intuition, about being in touch with, communicating with, and moving along with the things she just knows. She can't prove it. It's not necessarily something she's learned from studying or looking things up. She just tunes in. We talked about tuning in for this remote reading, and the fact that you are open to a remote reading tells me that you already have this sensibility of trust within yourself and power. The Priestess is not, she is, she's the supreme representation of intuition being available and useful. So I think the combination, now there's one card we haven't talked about which I should speak to. That is this card, which falls in the position of the reading, which literally has nothing. You have no responsibility for this, and you have no control over this. I call it the weather card. It's what's happening around you in the air. And it's transitory, but at this time, it's out of the suit of swords. It's called defeat. It's a 5. 5s are about things being confused or mixed up or disorganized before they're reorganized. And it's an important piece of information. It helps us decide and discriminate and to reduce our frustrations with where we put our attention. So from the suit of swords, And being a 5, it has to do with mental confusions, arguments, disagreements, a battle of belief systems, entangling in all things that have to do with communication and ideas. So, quite frankly, we are in a time where there's a lot of media attention to conflict and disagreement and, the whole 9 yards. I offer to you, yeah, that's in the air, it's in the air all around us, but you can save yourself the trouble of getting involved. Don't get involved. Just withstand it. It's like bad weather. Just endure it. Take precautions when you need to. If you have to be in arguments, like, put on your rain gear or carry your lucky rabbit's foot or whatever. But don't think it's something you have to fix, or it's something that it's your problem or it's your fault. Relieve yourself of those energetic hooks, because it won't serve you in what is else going on around you. I'm going to pause for a moment and arrange them, and then we'll see what else they say. Here we go. We set them in 2 lines. That puts them into what I call pairs or duets. There's those 2 princes side by side. I do it the same way every time, but I really never know how they're going to pair up. Here you have your 2 princes. Again, it's just a more emphasis on allowing yourself and to be playful with your edges, the edges of your comfort, the edges of your familiarity, in a literal physical way and in that emotional way. Experiment, explore, sample. Just, right now is not a time to make real hard and fast decisions, I think, but it's a time of exploration, a time of investigation. And again, like I said, sampling. Give yourself that chance to just play. Now the 9 of discs is pairing with the star, the card we spoke about, shining. And this is saying to me, you really already are shining. So if you didn't know that for yourself, I'm here to tell you, you are shining. It is this abundant, energetic, physical, real quality that is benefiting you and the world. Let yourself have that energetic sensibility that I'm not just having a good life for myself. I'm making a difference for all the world, anyone around me, and even beyond. So when and as you have that recognition to yourself, that affirmation, it becomes this perpetual motion machine. It becomes a vicious circle going in the great happy direction, right? Look at this. It's like, we talk about vicious circles. We think of things getting worse, but I am talking about a vicious circle that just gets better and better and better, which is a message we don't hear, but we need, and it's actually operating. So I'm here to tell you, feel it, be it, and spread it around. Now your Knight of Discs falls with the card of the 5 of Swords, which is all about that confusion, that argument, that disagreeable sense in the area of the mind. The mind is what always gets us in trouble everywhere we go, in ourselves, in our families, in our work, in our communities, in the country, in the world. It's all this talk. It's all this fighting with ideas and words. I offer to you that in the presence of that you ground yourself. You turn back to what you know is real. The Knight is about stability, determination, not being in a hurry, not needing to jump in any way. jump to conclusions, jump to defense, jump to the rescue of somebody that, may be under any kind of circumstance. So this card paired with this card, to me, is great. I'm trying to think of it's like encouragement. Go back to the things that are real to you and that will stay real to you. Those are where you can draw comfort, inspiration, energy. It's like a reality check, okay? And I think it's incredibly important for all of us, but certainly for yourself, a reality check. And here's one more thing about this card. Don't second guess yourself. We can always argue with ourselves. We make great arguments for and against any kind of reason to do or not do what we might do. I'm offering to you, save yourself that trouble. Skip that process and follow the true things that do work for you, that continue to work for you. They will not fail working for you. Don't confuse yourself with ideas or fears that they might. Remember to draw on those actual things. You've made it this far in your life. You will continue to make it in your life by doing those same kinds of things. It's proof positive already. So please don't doubt it. That's what I would say this pairing is also about. Don't doubt yourself. And don't frustrate yourself with whatever your stories may be for arguing against yourself and your success and your security. So that's my little sermonette on that. Here's the two wands coming together. Again, this is the suit of intuition, fire, energy. What turns you on? What actually gets you out of bed in the morning? What keeps you going when you've spent a long day? What do you usually return to for when you're feeling dull or down? What sparks you back to life? This package right here, this duet, is saying to me, to say to you, again, exaggerate that. Keep the lights on around those things. Seek them out. Add them up. Keep them close to yourself. Use them as like, the gas in your tank for running on. Some of this stuff, most of this stuff, is not new to you. But the great benefit of a reading is that they help us focus, to just keep some things upwards in our attention for our advantage. So this pair from the suit of the spirit, again, I don't know if I've used that word, the spirit. How do you feed your spirit? How do you hear your spirit? This pair for me at this time is saying so much is there for you. So emphasize it. Encourage yourself around it. Maybe do something a little extra right in this time frame that pulls that spiritual component more forward, more vibrant to yourself. And here is a lovely, amazing pairing, the Death card with the Priestess. So now this pairing is putting me to say this to you, and that in this this sort of, I'm going to use the word cloud, like you're in a cloud, right? For the time being, you just know, I'm up for a change, something's coming. These two cards for me put together are saying to me it will become much clearer for you. Now, how will that clarity occur? I think that these two cards put together are saying clarity is already in you. It will come to you. You will not invent it, you will not make it up, but you want to behave towards that clarity as if you were inviting it in like a special guest. And as this special guest, So you need to spend some time. It's time in your own company and the company of that clarity of what's coming up for me. What change is this that's in this air for me? Connect to it. Connect to it. Talk to it. Don't tell it what it is. Tell it you want to know what it has to tell you. Behave towards this new thing, this change, this new direction or exploration. Make it your friend, and then spend time listening. The priestess is about what we know without words. So find that way where you actually kind of imagine yourself asking, almost like you're waiting for the footsteps of that friend at the door or down the hall or in the driveway. So you put yourself in the presence of the anticipation, and anticipation not with the idea that it might not happen, but anticipation with it is absolutely going to happen, and I just am waiting for the first little, signs of it. Practice that on a basis that feels right to yourself. Set some time aside, a space aside. Do it throughout the day. Sprinkle it into your day. Do it a little bit of all. But I guess I keep saying this, but I think there's a lot of mileage in this for you at this time, is to recognize and acknowledge and affirm, I already do know. I absolutely know. I just need to hear it with my inner ear, or catch a glimpse of it with my inner eye. And that requires us to slightly remove ourselves from normal ways of living, move in that more like walking in the moonlight, right? Benefit yourself this way. Be the priestess, What kind of priestess are you? How would you express your priestess self? Do ritual, and I can't tell you, but you will know. And we can talk about it over email or even in person, but just from the fact that you had the sense to check in with me, and that I had the sense that you might, I didn't have the sense that you might, but I was thinking about you, and we can call that coincidence. I think it's the two of us actually being aware and being in communication with something that isn't words, but it's real. More now than ever. It's always been important, but we have an opportunity in our lifetime now is it to intensify this language, which isn't words, which isn't even pictures, but it's real. And how we allow that to inform us, encourage us, and inspire us. So it's pretty new. I think we're on a cutting edge, and we don't have a lot of words for it, but we actually have a lot of skill with it. So it may be, I think, that these two pieces, the practical and the emotional, and then this clearing away of something old and being in touch with this very, intense and authorized and qualified spiritual intuitive self. It may occur that you find a new way to put your spirit into the physical world. I just really think that, practically speaking, the sky is the limit, and that as we allow ourselves to lift our minds to that sky, our spirits, our hearts, and life isn't finished with us yet. It just keeps bringing new and great things on. So I'm going to wrap the reading there, I think. Let's look at the very bottom card. Princess of Wands. See, there's a third character from that energetic quality of taking risks, going to the edges, not looking for something that's already established, but actually maybe bringing something brand new into your own life, which is into everyone's life. Yeah, it could happen that you might reflect on any wild ideas that you had as a teenager, as a young woman in your 20s or 30s. Kind of review and find out if there's any wild idea back there that you tried that might work now, or a dream that you've put aside because it's not practical or impractical or etc. So that's probably a lot for you to work on. I probably didn't tell you anything you didn't know. I hope I did tell you something that you do know, and that you go with what you know in a more robust and enthused and encouraged way. Okay? Good. Take care.